Hello skaters, welcome to this BSS Blader Union collaboration for a monster Reddit question and answer. So rather than just answer your questions from a desk, I thought I'd skate and then do the old voiceover. This is new footage, but I do have to cut away to older footage because I mashed my rotator cuff partway through this skate experience. Yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't even on something impressive either, but you'll see soon. And I won't mention it because I'm too busy answering questions with a lot of good ones. Thank you so much for the great questions. So yes, buckle up and here we go. Okay, let's do this. So the first question actually was the top ranked question as well. It's H_underachiever. I would like to know if Bill has any difficulty skating with such massive balls. So I don't think they're looking for a literal answer here. Yeah, thank you for the props on my tenacity, I think, when it comes to skating. If you do want a literal answer, the answer is compression shorts. Somebody commented, I'm so happy I came early for this to be the only comment. It was the first comment. It's funny. And someone else says, oh, please sneak this one in after a few serious ones. No serious ones before that. I'm not putting that one at the back of the line. And then Domesticated Dad comes in with, in all seriousness, sometimes I wonder where he gets the courage to be such a total street destroyer in a city like Toronto. I don't even have the guts to go into my own tiny town. Yeah, me skating in the city was a bit of a slow build. I skated on a trail first, then I went into alleys, parking lots, and then onto slower, quieter roads in my neighborhood. It took me probably like a year or two to feel really comfortable with traffic. And even then, it took me a while to get used to Toronto. But the bicycle culture really opened the city up. Seeing so many more bicycles out there and knowing that cars are aware of me just made me feel so free and normal on the streets. Like I'm not some sort of anomaly crazy person daring to ride with these giant metal chariots. So yeah, I still feel a little paranoid, as my phrasing would tell you. Big thanks to my sponsor, Pro Skaters Place, who carries the Adapt GTB and an incredible array of inline skates from aggressive to fitness to marathon to three-wheelers. They also have electric skateboards and scooters and all sorts of neat inner-city travel that you might want to check out at Ride It Electric, which is in their store as well. The link is below. Le Pink King says, would love to hear his thoughts on wheel bearing grease oil debates regarding the best setups to ride in rain, sleet, snow, water, most effectively, and with the best ability to preserve gear for future rides. Also, one of my life goals is to be part of a BS skate group here in Minnesota or anywhere else. And then a few people come in with, talk about what's happening in Minnesota. Apparently there's a CIB Minneapolis and Fun Wheels skate group. Thank you for that. Jen the dog lover. Yes, and next, she also mentions there's a speed skating group at the Oval. Not sure what they're doing during COVID, though. Thanks for that, Jen, the dog lover. Jean the dog lover. And yes, looks like there's a little buzz about skating in Minnesota in a group. So yeah, when I have a group skate here, maybe you'll be part of a pack. And this one is from Jim Jam Jones 123. Hi, Bill. Just wondering what your average speed is when you're rolling through the city. I don't know my average speed. It would be quite low if you actually calculate it because I'm decelerating and accelerating nonstop. I'm just stopping all the time. But this summer I was skating at a decent clip on a medium road and a guy passed and yelled that he had clocked me at 27. So yeah, I think that's my working pace is 27. When I'm up in the 30s, I'm skating for my life generally. But yeah, I think when I'm lackadaisically skating, I'm around 20. I think my cruising speed would probably be 20 to 25. My working speed, 26 to 30. My caning at speed would be 30 and above. I don't think I hit 40 without a hill. I don't know. This one is from Point 1. Hi, Bill. Number 1. You've shown that an old dog can learn new tricks by only recently incorporated backward skating into your flow. Will we see magic slides, or does your signature B-stop cover all the bases for you? Yes, I think my backward skating in street situations was quite a new thing. And where I skate, I don't know. I think I'm going to use it in very particular situations. So it was more of a stretching of a current skill. So yeah, it wasn't entirely new, but I am an old dog. Will we see magic slides soon, or does your signature B-stop cover all the bases for you? Yes, it does. I don't like the look of the magic slide with the inverted knees. It just seems unhealthy in the rough for me. I did have a phase when I was learning the power stop where I found myself in the magic slide position, kind of a weakened slide. And on the rough, if you get into that magic slide position, you'll find that your back foot just grabs a hold of something, unless you're on nice, smooth, or consistent pavement. It's a very surface-dependent stop. It's basically for sliders. Oh yeah, it's also very useful for downhill skating if you're doing, like a big, smooth course and you're carrying a lot of speed. It's a legit slowing mechanism. But yeah, on the rough, the magic slide has absolutely no place. No. It's the kind of thing that tears your adductor. Number 2. Is there any chance you'll employ a cameraman as Sean Unwin of Flowskate does for more varied content? This is something I've vexed over. And the problem with this, when you're talking about other skaters, generally you're talking about a more complicated, maybe more technical line in some respects. So speed isn't really the primary objective of the skater in something like Flowskate, although they're carrying good speed and can. With me, however, I've pretty much centered my entire skating career around skating in rough, varied situations as fast and efficiently as possible. So it's it's a matter of conditioning, strength, and technique as well. So to find somebody that would be able to hold a camera and film me at what I think is the peak of my career, don't mean to brag, but I think it would be very difficult. But I would have to find somebody 10 to 20% better than me if they could keep up with me, film me with one arm monopolized by the camera stick. They'd have to be incredible. So good that I should be doing a documentary about them and maybe becoming a filmmaker instead of a street skater if somebody was that much better than me. I know it sounds like an incredible brag, but this is what I do. I really concentrate on going over things as quickly as possible. No embellishments, no tricks. So people would never have a time in which to adjust or get their thoughts together if they're skating with me and filming me. I know it's an arrogant answer, and I have an arrogant solution. I could have 4 skaters where the first guy keeps up with me fine because he's a great skater, and then the second guy keeps up with me fine because I'm tired and he's a great skater, and the third and fourth skaters, no problem. Did I say guy? It could be girl. There's some really fast girls on the streets nowadays. There could even be a time when the fastest person in inline is a girl. I've seen some very fast girls. And with refined technique and working out, there's nothing to say that any girl out there couldn't blow the doors off most guys. Or all guys. So yes, maybe the one coming up that will film me will be a girl. I would also like to have like a mountain bike or an electric bike film me through the city. So the person that's filming me isn't actually working. They've just got something clipped to the back of the bike and they just concentrate on keeping the right speed and keeping themselves safe. That would be the ultimate solution. But I need somebody who can roll stairs and who's very adventurous. I will find them. Are you out there? Are you in Toronto? Are you ready? Max 2000K. Hey man, any tips or words of advice for a beginner city skater? Also, what were some of the biggest growing pains, be it bodily pain, balance, footwork, etc.? You're a beast on the streets and I love your videos. So for beginner city skaters, learn to stop. Learn to stop and learn it well. Learn to power slide and aim at power stopping. You could have a better stop in your first year or two of skating than some people have after 20 years. You can, if you insist. So stopping is safety, and I've always been convinced that the popularity of inline would grow when people realized that there is a way to stop quickly. That's one of the biggest questions I get from people who don't skate is, how do you stop and how do you feel comfortable skating if you can't stop on skates? They don't realize that you can. And it doesn't take a lifetime of dedication to learn the power stop. You just have to Build it into your practices. Be consistent. Hit it all the time when you're out. But I just did a little thing about that. So yeah, check out a video called Power Stop Attitude. Do you have what it takes? So yeah, that's my number one bit of advice. And there's also the stay low motto, which applies to everything. If you stay low when you're striding, turning, stopping, you're generally going to be safe and more powerful. So yeah, keep it low. Don't skate tall. Unless you're trying to look pretty. Which is cool. But you might fall. And then look ugly. The next one's Octopolypus. I would like to ask, where and how do you discover the music used in videos? And if you could possibly include the names of the songs and artists in the video description. Some of your songs are really great. So I won't be giving you the names of the artists because I like to have links below that are more pertinent to my sponsors or to the theme of my video. And also I subscribe to Artlist for this, so I pay for my music. And I do have quite a few battles with artists as far as them trying to double dip to block my video even though I paid for the license, and claim revenue from my video. It's something YouTube seems to encourage. So yes, I'm constantly fighting copyright battles on that, so I wouldn't suggest Artlist to everybody. To me, it's worth it because they've got really good music. It's way better than the YouTube library. I've heard of Epidemic Sound, and I think they've got an equally good library and maybe fewer copyright problems. I'm not sure. That was from Octopolypus. The next one is Kibali with the Q. Do you do workouts outside of skating to improve your skating? What exercises do you do? Yes, I believe that the skater you are will be significantly enhanced if you work out, no matter what discipline of skating you're involved in. And that's where skating's been quite arrogant and rebellious and ignorant as far as not treating their respective sports and their own bodies like they're professional athletes. There was a time ice hockey was like that. You had a bunch of drunks who didn't recover. They played hard, but they weren't acting like athletes. And the game wasn't what it is today. Old timers would tell you otherwise. Probably tougher because they were drunk when they were playing. I don't know if they were drunk when they were playing, but yes, I think we're just starting the point where inline skaters begin to view themselves as real athletes. They're not anti-jocko. Even dancers work out. Dancers work out extremely hard. So yes, there's absolutely no excuse for not working out for inline skating. And if you're inline skating, it's not enough for your body. If you're using certain frontal muscles, but you're missing out on the posterior chain, you're going to change the tilt of your spine. You're going to change the way your shoulders are set. And the tilt of your pelvis will change radically. And you'll wind up with some really bad back pain if all you do is inline skating. It's not enough. There's so many reasons to work out for inline skating. So you're more powerful and you're faster with your legs. Power is speed. So if you can squat a bunch of weight, you automatically have a faster twitch in your legs to drive when you're skating with. So my favorite exercises, I like to do my squats, challenge my back in a different position than when I skate in. And I love deadlifts because I'm just not getting that posterior lower chain worked. So if I want my pelvis to be at a perfect tilt, if I want my body to be balanced, I have to hit those hamstrings. I have to be diligent about them or I wind up with problems. I wind up with real problems when I don't work my hamstrings out in my knee and my hip. And also there's times in skating where you wind up in a really precarious position. Something's whipping around or your whole torso's going forward. And if you've worked out hard and you have great strength, you might not tear something. Or you might have the power to avoid bailing. Especially appreciate my bench press when I land on my hands. It saved me many times. I've talked about this before in my videos, but I always take the opportunity to cover it when I talk because I think that's one of those little things that's holding inline back. Well, fitness in some circles is actually a bad word. It's what some skaters would call me. They would call me a fitness skater because I happen to be in shape when I skate, while I skate. They wouldn't even call me an urban skater. They'd call me a fitness skater because I work out. That's like a park skater insult for people who city skate or assault skate. Somebody mentions here about content, speed skating having some good drills, and they do. But there's a slightly different emphasis with speed skating, and I do see a lot of drills in speed skating mimicking the position of speed skating while training, which for me, I seek variation and movements and challenging muscles that I'm not challenging when I'm skating. I treat myself like an athlete. I do my squats, I do my deadlifts, I do my one-legged deadlifts, my cleans. Sometimes you just have to work. You can't always be skating or pretending to be skating. Hey, Bill, do you think your upper body workout is helping your overall skating abilities? I mean, look at those arms. Yeah, the arms are smaller than they were pre-COVID, but I'm working on it. Yes, if your legs are strong, your upper body should be strong, and your core should be strong. Everything in balance. I wouldn't want great big giant legs and a little upper body, because I don't think that would help me as far as catching myself on falls if I want to vault over a wall. I want my upper body to be proportionally as strong as my lower body, just from a symmetrical point of view. I'm not a satyr. Is it a satyr? Like a pan type thing? What is that? Tumnus? Satyr. Satyr might be like a goat with a full goat body. I'm talking about a guy who plays the flute and has haunchy legs. Yeah, I don't want to be that guy. That was from Jeff Roy. And H Underachiever weighs in again. Fun fact, Bill doesn't actually do any upper body workouts. His huge guns are a direct result of catching the ladies and gents who pass out when he skates near them. Oh, that's nice, but no, I generally let them fall. I mean, if they're wearing shoes, they could use a hard lesson. Naphtali. Naphtali. Is that ancient oil that you would throw out onto a ship if you wanted it to burn? Naphtali. Hi, Bill. How do you deal with fear when learning a new trick? Kind regards, Naphtali. I don't do a lot of tricks per se, but jumps and things that I'm not sure that I can handle, I generally size them up. So if I was going to be jumping over a bench, I would skate beside it a couple times and just figure out if my clearance is good enough. But sometimes that kind of talks me out of it. So sometimes when I'm imitating the jump, I don't put as much into it because the urgency just isn't there. It's just a practice run. So I lose a couple inches on my jump. And by doing that, I think, oh shit, I can't jump that bench because that was quite low. So yes, I guess I have to sometimes just attack something that I think I can handle. And when I'm jumping over something, I always think about jumping well above it. Landing from above, and that generally gets me out of trouble. If I can imagine myself jumping above something, generally I'm going to clear it. So another trick, I guess, stair rolling is a trick. So I like to roll 4s and 5s and then 6 and then drill it out like crazy and then maybe hit 7 steps before I hit like 11 or 12. Even when I'm in a park after having skated stairs the day before, I like to warm up to it. I can just roll a set of stairs cold, but playing around beforehand is nice. It's a great way to iron out the technique and to make the big small. All right, we have Aveva. I would like to request that Bill is answering questions while skating in the natural habitat of the streets of Toronto. I don't watch vids to see them sitting down. I watch them to see Bill skate. My question, I would have liked to have had a microphone on and skate and answer, but getting the questions into my ear or reading them, that would have been the difficult part. Maybe someday I'll have an interviewer with me. That'd be cool. My question, best way to break in skates. I've transitioned from cheapo Amazon skates with wheels softer than my belly fat from FR to FR3s. Going from a skate with little to no support with a hard boot that won't let go is awesome, but I'm still in the break-in phase of the skate, and I've gotten some blisters slowing me down. Any tips, tricks, patterns, skating schedules to follow to effectively break in the skate without breaking your foot first? Also, have you ever had to heat mold boot punch any of your skates? What are the signs that it's time to look into boot punching instead of trying to break the skate in? Thanks. So boot punching, I would say save that for if you've got an abnormal foot. You got a weird bone poking out of your Gollum foot. Yeah, you got to sort that shit out. get a boot that accommodates for your weird physiology. Yeah, feet are odd. I've got wide, flat, fat feet, so I don't really have any major issues, no real pressure points. I do break my boots in slowly, and that with my fat feet can be a little painful in the muscles of my feet until I get used to the reduced blood flow or the changing blood flow, and until the boot stretches out a little bit. And I do avoid heat molding my skates. And the reason why I do that is I'm just not confident that my feet on one day aren't dramatically different than my feet on another day, depending on salt, alcohol intake, how fat I am, how much I've skated. Feet change. So if I wear them over a long, long period, like 14, 15 times, and my feet just grows into them as I heat up when I skate, I get more of an overall shape of my foot on a day-to-day basis, rather than how it was on any given night. But some people need that. Some people cannot skate for a couple of days in a row when their feet are crammed into a skate and the blood flow is changed. So I'm not against heat molding. It does have its cases. But yeah, one of those things again, I'm not an expert. I've only heat molded a couple pairs in my life. Ice skates. Alfredo Bai. Hey Bill, can you describe how you feel while skating? What is it that brings you back to the skates every time? Okay, I don't want to get caught up in a great big diatribe here because I could speak for hours about this. But in my dreams, I love to fly, and I try to have lucid dreams, and when I have lucid dreams, among other things, flying is one of the things I like to try to do. So in my waking life, the fact that I can fly with this little cushion of air, or what it feels like between my feet and the road, that's just magical. I did roller skate when I was a kid, but that's nothing like inline skating. The tilt you get and the freedom, the stability forward and backward, the agility, the fact that you can do everything in your skates that you can do in your shoes, but faster and smoother. Yeah, that brings me back. I just feel like a superhero when I'm out there, like I can fly through the city. It's just the most amazing thing. And when I stop, I feel like a machine, like a hybrid human. I get really arrogant out there, and I come back feeling like I'm the best skater in the world. I came back feeling like I was the best skater in the world in my first year of skating. I wasn't even the best skater in my city or my neighborhood, probably. Yeah, I get drunk on skating. And that's what brings me back every time. Sometimes when I'm lacing up, I don't feel like going out because in the abstract, getting out there and skating is a bit daunting because there's traffic, there's preparation, there's a little bit of fear until I put my music on. But when I think about how I feel after I skate and the feelings I have when I mid-skate, it's enough to get me to conquer every fear or practical thing, put everything off, and put my skates on. Because let's be honest, when you're skating, you could be doing other things. And it's easy just to be lazy. And it's not just the rush you get when you skate, it's that feeling afterwards. And sometimes that feeling afterwards can last for days. So in this regard, it's not a drug. It's a sustainable high. The next one is Sharpen the Gem. Hi, Bill. Do you do a recce for path before skating it? Thanks. So reconnaissance, I do some reconnaissance on a day-to-day basis. When I'm in Toronto, I poke my head down alleys if I'm on shoes or walking the dog. But when I'm skating, I kind of consider everything I do as reconnaissance. I'm expanding my route almost every time I skate, and I do skate a lot of familiar places, but there's always something new. In a city like Toronto, there's so many discoveries. Van Journo, there's a lot of hype around endless frames. Most of the popular skaters on social media, including you, use them at some point. What do they add to your skate setup, and how do they enhance your skating in a way that standard out of the box frames cannot? So the endless frame, it was kind of an unusual skate for me to be in because I'm quite a fan of a flat setup, but I enjoyed the endless frame because that slight rocker gave me a super tight pivot. And I really liked it when I was shooting. So I'd shoot something in an alley or something, and I'd want to go back to the camera. Instead of having to like drag, stop, slow down, and turn, I could just like U-turn towards the camera in like half the radius that it would take me normally. And if you're like a swivel skater, and you're doing a lot of transitions and one-footed things where you want less friction. Kind of like cone skating, but on the streets, the fancier skaters. I think it's a must to have a sleigh rocker. If you have a really flat setup and you're doing tons of swivels and spins and turns, you're going to be working those hip flexors and rotators really hard. So yeah, I think a rocker frame also has a place for my retirement as far as when I still want to be skating and I don't want to be working my hips so hard on turns. The flat setup needs some strength and tenacity. And I do think it depends on the kind of skating you're doing too. I did use them when I was caning it and doing assault skating, and they were good. I felt a little twitchy at times. So I lost a little stability, but I enjoyed the sharp turns. So it's a different game when you're on a different frame. And it's the same thing with the Wizard frame. Wizard frames to me seem like they're made for a very specific kind of skater. This one is Muvet's. Hi, Bill. I'm having my first adventure with aggressive skating this summer, and I know you gave it a go a while back too. Where do you stand now on your foray into aggressive? Did you close that chapter? Any valuable lessons from it? So yes, the aggressive skating thing was very special to me, but it was a very doomed situation last year. I don't like skating in parks where I haven't paid to skate in. So I don't like going to recreational parks where just anybody can go and there's no accountability or governing body there to kick some bastards out. So yeah, when I go to a skate park around here, I almost always find myself having to confront somebody and ask them why they want my attention. And that doesn't make me feel good. And I have to stay there afterwards to kind of alpha male it a bit, to kind of show them that they can't chase me out of their skate park. And then I win a few people over, and then I go back the next day and I have to face a whole new situation all over again. So that is why I don't aggressive skate. So when I went to the parks in my last foray, my last attempts to refine my aggressive skating, the COVID hit. So the parks closed down and I was left with no easy, professional, safe venue in which to practice. And what did I learn? I guess I was reminded that the big become small, things that I felt very far away from. I was doing fairly decently, quite quickly, because I was persistent. I learned that I only want a few grinds, but I want to do them very well. That's from Muvet's. Up your size. Hi, Bill. As a massive baby, your choice to not wear a helmet stresses the hell out of me. Are you not worried about taking a spill at this point? So, I'm most worried, most fearful, most scared when I have full padding on. When I've got a helmet on, I know that shit's going to go down, and I know I'm going to be taking some unreasonable risks. And because I skate solo, I get a little worried when I know I'm going to be skating by myself and fully padded. So yeah, not wearing a helmet to me is a mechanism that keeps me within a sane range. And I also believe that you should conduct yourself on skates as if you have no helmet. And when I have a helmet on, it's just automatically, I act like I have more protection on. And that's just not the way to approach skating. I like to approach skating as paranoid as possible. And that doesn't come down to equipment. That comes down entirely to behavior and skills. In a skate park or on obstacles that I don't really feel comfortable on or that are new or I plan on really pushing the limit, I'd be an idiot not to wear a helmet. Even on stairs nowadays, I'm more likely to wear a helmet when I'm going on a big stair rolling binge. But I don't ever want to be at the place where I can't do a significant challenge or I can't take a few risks without a helmet on. And yeah, I guess I'd wear a helmet if I was planning on going really fast too. I think it's a very good idea to wear a helmet if you're doing downhills. Skating really fast. That one was from Up Your Size. This one's from New Mean 2016. Hi, Bill. The sport has come such a long way in the last 10 to 15 years. Where do you think the sport will go in 5 to 10 years? Do you think we'll ever see a prodigy born out of this sport that will rise to the ranks of other famous athletes before them, like Tony Hawk, Dave Mira, Shaun White from snowboarding? Yeah, the sport has come a long way, and I think that the great prodigy of inline skating, I don't know if it's going to follow any of these models of Tony Hawk, David Mira, Shaun White. These small park sports where they're judged on a point system based on density of tricks. I don't think the next prodigy is going to come out of a park. And I would say the person that represents us is going to be less like Joe Namath and more like Bruce Lee. Because of the artistic side of skating and the fact that we have all these disciplines that can be stolen from and put into one person means that there is a super machine in the wings. The next one's Weary Weight 4290. Do you think the big wheel, tiny rocker, heavy frame phenomenon is here to stay? Do you think the super short tri-skate phenomenon is here to stay? Between 1 and 2, which frame would you prefer? Big wheel, tiny rocker, heavy frame phenomenon? Yeah, there's a whole specific style based around the big wheel, tiny rocker, heavy frame. It's like a whole new sport, so if that, that technology can't go away because there's too many people skating in that style. Super short tri-skate frame phenomenon is here to stay. Yes, the super short tri-skate phenomenon is here to stay because people love flying across the city, and the less resistance of the three wheels really gives you the feeling of slicing through a city very quickly. So yeah, those forms of skating are not going away. I just think we're going to see more and more varied skates. It's amazing the crazy number of kinds of skates you can get. Between 1 and 2, which frame would you prefer? Definitely neither. I'm in my wheelhouse right now at 84 millimeter wheels on a flat setup. I can enjoy an 82 millimeter, an 80. I can go up as high as 90. Even at 90, it's a little bit big. This is Mechanical Royalty. Hi, Bill. Really enjoying your videos. I think your music selection is always on point. What's your favorite track to play whilst cruising around Toronto? Oh, I have all sorts of like female hip-hop I like, old school sounding hip-hop, rap. I like rock. A song, weirdly, that gets me fired up that's really old is Thunderstruck. So yeah, that one just propels me. There's not many songs that propel me like, I don't know why that's hit such a chord lately. Hit such a chord. This is from MattBro94. What does Bill think of the recent big wheel rocker trend in skating, aka wizard skating? Yeah, I talked about this earlier. It's definitely its own thing, its own style. And it's a soothing, hypnotic thing to watch. And it's something I can enjoy watching because I don't want to unravel the technical side of it. It's not where I'm going. I can just marvel at the intricacy and the artistry. Yeah, I think it brings inline skating to a whole technically challenging yet chilled place. Understand. Would you ever skate uptown or anywhere else from your usual haunts in the city, or are there places you just won't go? Yes, there are places I just won't go, and they are definitely Toronto's most enviable neighborhoods. So like, like Forest Hill and Rosedale and the Bridle Path, and there's all these, like a Millionaire Circle or whatever the hell they call it. There's all these places with like no sidewalks or really quiet streets, no high street, few alleys, just boring as fuck places to skate. So yeah, people often complain that I skate Ugly Toronto, but Ugly Toronto has variation, and Pretty Toronto is just Demerol for my soul. I had to skate in almost 50 neighborhoods. I was doing a real estate project where I was filming every single neighborhood, a neighborhood profile of every neighborhood in Toronto, and we even started to do every neighborhood in Toronto the second time over again. So yes, I found the most beautiful neighborhoods with the nicest houses and the most amazing cars were just so boring. And really boring to film too. As far as like rough neighborhoods, no, there's no rough neighborhood I wouldn't skate in Toronto. There's neighborhoods I wouldn't skate in Detroit if I didn't have the right company. Hi, Bill. Thank you for taking time to do an AMA. Some questions. This is from Shaw Skating. What were your original driver's goals when you started sharing rollerblading content on YouTube? Have those changed over time? If yes, how? Oh, this one's tough because I've moved recently and I've been looking for my little sheet of objectives, and I do have a list of objectives as far as making, I think in 2012 I wanted to make flow skating a thing. I wanted people to think about the skating in between the tricks. I wanted city skating to be important. I also wanted to take the word skating back. I wanted the word skating just to mean inline skating, and we're not there yet. I wanted city skating to be an inline skating thing and not a skateboarding thing, and that's no longer that way. Originally, I really wanted to teach people how to stop. That was something I thought about for many years. Like I mentioned earlier, that if I could teach people how to stop, people would want to skate. So I was thinking actually more about people who weren't skating, trying to skate in a way that might draw like a hockey player onto the streets, or somebody who knew how to skate onto the streets, but who thought the streets might be too radical. I really wanted to display that skates are completely appropriate no matter what the landscape is around you. I mean, if you're lucky enough to live in a country like I live in, there are some places that are very hard to skate, and I do understand that. So yeah, I had a whole bunch of goals. I had some personal goals too, and I didn't reach a few of those, but I'm still working on them. I got my own skate, and that was on the list. Number 2, do you do anything specific to protect your knees? I just started rollerblading, and I want to make sure I protect my knees. Like you, I generally lift weights and exercise, and I'm wondering if that does it, or do you have other parts of your routine to protect your knees? I do the conventional resistance training workouts. I make sure I hit deadlifts to make sure I'm not changing the tension of my joints too much one way or the other. But as far as knees, I think it's worth considering working everything out. So work your tibialis out, work your calves, work your hamstrings, work the smaller muscles of the legs out, work your adductors, abductors. It's a multi-directional approach, and if everything is equal leading into that knee capsule, your wear and tear is going to be more sensible. This is from Mushroom Shroud. Hey Bill, do you still play ice hockey with friends sometimes? If so, do you skate circles around them? I don't play hockey anymore. I did on the beaches occasionally. Yeah, that's basically what I have when I play hockey, is the ability to track down somebody when they're on a breakaway. So I do outskate almost everybody when I'm, as far as raw blunt speed on the ice, when I'm out there. But my stick handling sucks, so yeah. I'm a good defender. This one's from Resonant Spaces. Hi Bill, your early videos really inspired me when I was starting to skate hard through the city. I've shared them with others through the year. My question is, as your emphasis has moved more toward products, product review, in particular at promoting expensive gear like Adapt skates, do you have any concern about fueling commodity fetishism in skate scene? No, I want to fuel a sort of fetishism in the skate scene. I think we need a dope, beautiful, well-crafted piece of art that represents the industry so spectacularly that inline skating gets some sort of enhanced value just because we've made this pretty object. So I did review skates from super budget skates right up to the most expensive skates they are. And I felt really good when I reviewed the Flying Eagle Drift? No, Flying Eagle Falcon, because it was at a price point that many people could afford. I think it's important to get many people in skates. But I also think it's important for people to have the ability to buy something beautiful which represents inline skating in a spectacular way. So yes, I really appreciate the values of Adapt, their customer care, their craftsmanship, their history. They're a skater-led company with 2 very skilled skaters at the helm. Yeah, it's nothing but really, this is just such a good thing for inline skating. If it would have happened sooner, I think it would have been extremely good for the health of inline. That was from Resonant Spaces. 2 questions to Bill from Nazar on Wheels. What has practically changed in your life after becoming an Adapt ambassador compared to pre-ambassador period when you were still supported by an Adapt in a certain way? Does it imply any limitation on your cooperation with other brands? Really curious to know what the difference is. Not much has changed. The Adapt team has really been welcoming and supportive. And no, I won't be skating in any other skates. I wasn't really skating in other skates much before. But yeah, as an ambassador, I represent them. So yeah, I'm not going to go representing somebody else. And number 2, what is the status of the ultimate urban skate story with Pro Skaters Place? Is it still in development? Is Adapt going to move in that direction? What is your current favorite urban skate? So, of course, my favorite urban skate is Adapt. It's why I chose Adapt. I feel I built the ultimate urban skate with the GTB. Just small improvements on the current GTO. But, the GTO out of all the skates I tried just turned out to be the most suitable skate for my skating style. No buckles. Didn't feel like I'm wearing lunch boxes. No rattling, no plastic. Yeah, it was. It's just definitely. There's not even another skate that was close as far as what I want to roll in. What I was doing with that urban skate is I was putting something together for new skaters and old skaters alike that would be suitable to roll in the city that was fun. But the big part of the problem is that I was putting together a skate from like a bunch of different manufacturers. So I had a problem with getting one part, and that held the skate up for several weeks after really actually advertising it quite well. And then at that point, I just thought, we're going to be waiting for parts from other people. This is going to be an ongoing problem, and I'm going to be letting people down. It's not my dream skate. It's just a really good skate that I like, which is why I didn't put my name on it. I was calling it a city skate because I knew that many people would love skating in this, and I enjoyed skating in this, but it wasn't the perfect skate. It was just a skate that I was willing to get behind. What's your current favorite urban skate? What do you think? It's great to hear from you, Nazar. Nazar on Wheels. Nazar on Wheels has his own YouTube channel, which is definitely worth watching. I've been enjoying watching your development and your slick flows, Nazar. Hi, Bill. This is from King Kaz. Hi, Bill. What drills, in your opinion, are the most crucial for a beginner skater to work on at the start to make a good foundation? Thanks. Love your vids. So as I mentioned before, stopping is very important, but also one-footed glide. If you learn the one-footed glide, you learn how to go through narrow spaces. You learn how to prolong your stride glide. You will be set up for a drag stop. There's just so many reasons to learn how to glide for a few seconds on each foot. ROFL, my toe is on fire. I'd like to know what Bill thinks of the Aeon 80s, now after owning them for a while. As far as aggressive skates, I really like them. They handled very well in the streets. I was very confident in them. I like the power transfer despite having a separate liner. Doing grinds on that H block for me would be impossible. The space was just too small. But I enjoyed very much doing Machios on those. A nice, swift, aggressive skate. No complaints. Borez is a 50-year-old ex-hockey player who still loves bombing around London parks and streets on skates like a 20-year-old. I got to ask Bill, how old are you? Okay, if you're this deep into the video, you can hear my age. It's 52. And I don't talk about my age much because I want to be considered a great skater. I don't want to be considered a great skater for my age, or I don't want to be considered the old guy who can really move. And I don't anticipate using age as a parlor trick or a novelty item until I'm well into my 60s or maybe 70. Then I can say, wow, look at me, I'm 70 and I can jump over a bench. Hey, Bill, first of all, this is from Trader Joe's. Hey, Bill, thank you for what you're doing. I get so much inspired by watching you. First question, have you thought about a future video in which you show your own skill progression, maybe tied to one specific move like a power stop, then showing recent footage, then 2 to 5 years back, then 5 years back in comparison? Yeah, that's a lot of work, and I'm terrible at storing footage and going through videos. So probably not. It's just a little too technical, a little too gathering properties kind of for me. Nice idea, though. If I had a staff, that would be cool. Second question, as I'm waiting for my adapts to arrive. Oh, congratulations. I'm curious, is there any science behind the lacing? Up until now, I've only used 2-part cuff shell skates with buckles, and I've heard that adapt flex is determined by specific lacing setup that one chooses. So I'm interested in how you handle that. Yes, I do lace up fairly loose but firm at the bottom. At the point where my foot starts to go up, I tighten quite a bit to get my foot pushed back into that heel channel, and then I'm tight at the top, but it's different for everybody. I really don't believe that there's one way to lace your skates. I think you have to work it for yourself based on where the plumpness and features of your foot are. And how you skate. How much flexion do you need? Number 3, are you planning on touring in the future? He's from Germany. Hamburg. Yeah, I'd love to do more touring. The UK is on my list, and I'd love to jet into Europe as soon as the whole COVID thing is managed. I won't say over. Thank you so much for the invite. And one more. Van Journo, what are your favorite places in Toronto to skate? I think starting at City Hall when it's not blocked off for pedestrian use, down into the city and west into the Fashion District would be my favorite route. I also really like the Bentway, and yeah, I was watching The Handmaid's Tale last night, and some of the really cool scenes were from the Bentway. So yeah, those would be my favorite places to skate. I basically know how to skate those places while avoiding people. Well, I also like skating down Yonge Street and going through Yonge and Dundas Square. So that's it. Wow, that was a lot of questions. Thank you so much for your questions, and big thanks to Blader Union for organizing this for me. Blader Union's been a big supporter of mine since they started. They're 4 years old, and I didn't know in their first year it was their first year. They were just so professional in their dealings and the way they went about things. So yeah, check out This Week in Blading on YouTube. That's a Blader Union creation. And check out the Blader Union blog site, website. It's in the link below, as is the Reddit link.
Stay low.